The truth about being informed, it's the biggest lie holding you back. That's it. All the average nerds will, scream at me, but I don't care. Here's the truth. General knowledge is overrated. Parents, teachers, people in general actually, everyone has tried to push this idea onto us that general knowledge is good for you. But guess what? Everyone is wrong. General knowledge is overrated and it's stupid to pursue general knowledge. Everyone is wrong at this. Everyone is just simply insecure of the general lack of goals and ambitions that they have, and so general knowledge turns out is the perfect coping mechanism to mask this insecurity, thus explaining why they parade on about general knowledge. RAS, Reticular Activation System. Ever heard of it? Basically, it's like a filter for your mind, and so there's information all around you all the time. Even if you're sitting on the couch doing nothing, there's information everywhere. We as humans act based on information we get from the environment, and this RAS acts as a filter for the mind to take in what information and not take in what information. It basically chooses that. For a person without goal, this RAS cannot determine what's important and what's not important. So guess what? It ends up not filtering out anything, and suddenly everything is relevant information for the mind. The mind starts taking in random bits of facts and knowledge and trivia from everywhere. But if you have a goal in mind, you feed this goal, this information inside your RAS, and then your RAS starts filtering out information based on your goals, and suddenly, naturally, automatically, you start to consume more of the information which is more aligned to your goals. When you have goals, basically, you won't search for trivia, you won't search for random bits of information, you won't look at the news. You will consume content only based on what goals you have set, and you will try to use that information to learn skills which will help you achieve this goal that you have set for yourself. General knowledge is basically scattered information. That is why it's called general in the first place. When we are consuming news, when we are consuming trivia, those little AI generated science videos, when we are consuming all those different random scattered GK stuff, what happens is we are confusing this RAS, and what ends up being is this RAS stops filtering any information, and suddenly everything starts staying inside our minds. There's this really nice concept which I heard from Naval Ravikant, and it says, remember the bit of music that keeps playing in your head? You can't get out of it. That music keeps playing inside your head. Guess what? Every bit of information that you consume these days acts the same way, and so you need to be very conscious of the things that you're consuming. Imagine having 35 different paths in front of you, and you don't know which one to pick. You don't know which path takes you where. This is what the RAS of an average human being has to go through due to just consumption of shorts alone. And so there's Instagram Reels, there's so many different short form content platforms, long form content platforms. You watch the news, you talk to your friends and colleagues about something. There's this random bit of information that flies into your ear when you're sitting inside that crowded bus, oddly specific, but this is what happens. And your RAS easily, I would say, has to choose from over 150 paths every single day. And even more diabolically, children are being made to study general knowledge as a separate subject at school. So it adds even more on the overload of information which we already have. You don't even know what implications consuming general knowledge has on you. You still go on parading about how good it is. And in reality, all you're doing is confusing this RAS system in your head, which basically now, due to all this confusion, does not know what to filter out and what not to filter out. And so basically your mind becomes this massive maze of just random information. You know what the population of this random country is. You know what the gender demographic of this random country is. You know how certain animal acts in certain seasons. You know all this science stuff, but is it doing any benefit to you? Does an astrologer really need to understand about how a zebra walks across the street? Does a scientist actually need to know what the latest news based on the elections are. Realize that parading on about how general knowledge is a great thing to have and being proud to have a lot of general knowledge, realize how stupid it is, and it's actually completely useless to have this massive stock of trivia. Essentially, consume knowledge based on the goals that you have, the aspirations that you have, the ambitions that you have, the books that you read, the media that you watch, the people you talk to about certain topics. Those topics, everything should be aligned to your goals. Everything should be about discussing, learning, talking about the skills that you want to learn in order to achieve that goal. Listen, perfection here is absolutely impossible. You can't expect to sit in a crowded bus or walk down the street and not hear something which is absolutely not aligned to your goal. You will hear some things, but there are a lot of things which you can control. You are more in control than you think you are. You can't control what people say to you, right? That's one massive thing. But you can control which people you talk to. This is where curating a group of friends, curating a bunch of people that you would talk to comes in handy. Fix a number of people who have similar goals and aspirations. Talk to these people, meet new people, talk with strangers, and figure out a group of people who have similar goals, similar mindsets, similar ideologies. This way, whenever you guys meet, even casually, you guys just end up talking about this goal that you guys have. So for example, this happens a lot in business. If there are 3 or 4 people who are all business minded and want to be successful in business, they will all end up sharing facts that they have learned about business, about the particular business model that they want to start. I talk about YouTube to one of my friends. He talks about some other business model he's trying to set up with me, and we get to exchange information based on different crafts, all while keeping the same topic of business which we both aspire to do. You can't control what's in the news, so stop watching it. You can't control what comes up in your shorts feed, so stop watching it. Refrain from consuming general knowledge from wherever possible, and every time you look at a new piece of content, just ask yourself, what signal is it giving to my RAS? Is the signal relevant to my goal, or is this new signal just confusing my RAS? Because if you keep feeding this one thing continuously to the RAS, be it entertaining, be it not entertaining, the RAS understands what to filter in and what to filter out. And so by choosing the bit of content that you are watching, by choosing the bit of things that you are reading, by choosing the people that you're talking to, by choosing the topics that you discuss about, by these little choices and little by little, bit by bit, optimizing towards this goal of 100% of whatever you do should be aligned to your goals. This is the final goal, right? But it can't be achieved, but definitely 90% of it can be achieved. So this goal of 90%, as you move forward towards it, the more and more clearer your goal becomes to you and to your RAS, to the point that your RAS actually knows very clearly what to filter in and what to filter out. And so you will have this bulletproof mindset where your RAS and you clearly know what to focus on, and basically anything that anyone tells you won't affect you. Listen, people will tell you so many different things. People will tell you, oh, you are rejecting my ideas, or oh, you're too focused on your goals, or oh, you've forgotten your friends, huh? People will tell you so many different things, but understand this, you will have to stick to your statements. You'll have to 100% stick to whatever you think, you feel, you want to talk about, to whatever your goal is. You'll have to stick to that, because unless you do that, you will keep being flown by this river and you having no direction, and you're going wherever the river takes you. You have to take control of the sails and stick to whatever you think, stick to whatever you believe, and just push forward. If you don't have any goals right now, set some. If you don't have any direction in life in general, then just set a direction. Okay, I know that there's this little business model or new job or this degree that you've been thinking about getting or starting or whatever, and you are contemplating and thinking every single day, should I do it, should I not do it, should I do it, should I not do it? Guess what? When you are at a T-junction and you are driving the car, basically you don't have any Google Maps or something, there's 2 directions you can go to. Guess what is the best move? If you do not know which direction to go to, the best move is always to just choose either of the paths and move. Okay, either go left or go right. And guess what? If you take a wrong turning, you can always do a U-turn and go to the other path. Unless you act, you won't have proper knowledge. And so set a direction which you have been thinking about and push forward in it. And if you realize somehow that okay, this is not for me, then you can always take a U-turn. Come on, you will actually have zero practical idea about the thing that you're wanting to start. Okay, if I wouldn't have started buying this microphone and these lights and setting up the camera and everything, if I wouldn't have started being a YouTuber, I wouldn't have had any idea about how to set these lights up. No amount of YouTube tutorials, courses, mentorship, anything will help actually to get 100% idea. In fact, you won't understand like anything. The way I set my lights up, it's absolutely different than whatever I learned in a lot of the YouTube videos. You will have to figure out things based on your requirements and not just I read this thing here so I'll apply this. Sure, apply whatever you learn. This is how you start. So you start by applying whatever you learn and then you figure out as you go along, but you have to start. So do something. Once you have your own goals, you have your own dreams, aspirations, a direction to move forward in, you would have to feel insecure about a lack of goals or ambitions because you have one. And so you won't have to use general knowledge to mask this insecurity because you don't have that insecurity. There's nothing to mask. And so you will suddenly realize the level of unimportantness which general knowledge has, and it's heavy. The number of times I've tried to explain this to people that you shouldn't consume anything on the news, you shouldn't read anything on the books. What are your goals? What are your aspirations? Just read the books that direct you towards your goals. Read the magazines that are related to the things that you want to achieve. Watch the content that relate to the goals that you have. And everyone just said, oh, but I need to be a responsible citizen. The government doesn't even care about you, and you are not being a responsible citizen if you don't contribute to the society. And without goals and aspirations, you physically can't contribute to the society. You just become a brain dead consumer who just uses general knowledge as a coping mechanism to hide their crippling insecurity that they get when they don't have any goals. So attack this both ways. Set goals, set aspirations, and automatically give a direction for your RAS to filter out or filter in, and also at the same time just directly curate the content that you are consuming. Give your RAS some direction, and within a week or two, it's possible to know more about one certain topic more than the 80% of the population. So for example, when I was doing a little bit of research on YouTube, within 2 or 3 weeks, I came to know more about this lighting stuff more than 80, 90, 99% of the population. If you go out on the streets and ask people what is a key light, I am 100% sure just 1 out of 50, 60 people will be able to answer that, and that one person is me. And so it's not impossible to become an expert at a topic within just like 3 or 4 months. If you just keep giving your RAS some direction to think in, some direction to filter and filter out, if you just keep setting this goal and sticking to this goal, then within 2 or 3 months, it's not impossible and unbelievable that you become an expert at the topic. So if you don't want to be stuck as an insecure little trivia collector, then set some goals, give your RAS some direction, and reject general knowledge.